What is going on, everybody? This is Tom with a Toy Ramble, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the Masterverse Princess of Power Leech from the original Evil Horde. And I can always hear the original commercial guy saying Leech in the original commercial for this character. This is one of my all-time favorite characters in Masters of the Universe, Princess of Power. I don't know what it is about him. I don't know if it's the combination of the color, the fact that leeches just in general have that icky, got the whole thing behind them. I've always loved this character. I've always thought he was awesome. So I am happy to be taking a look at him. But first, let's get a good zoom in on that artwork, which is really, really good, really well done. And let's lament that we still haven't gotten us a Scorpina in this toy line. What Mattel? Why? Why do you hate Scorpina? Also, we got a little tiny cat version of Catra, I think in the Origin line, but I want a Masterverse version. This is just me being picky, being a never satisfied fan of the line. And I completely forgot that we actually got a Grizzlor. I just didn't like the way that he looked. I would have liked more of the bear. Say they were going for the cartoon look clearly on this Grizzlor, but that is not what I want. I want the more toy bear-ish looking version of him. Quickie look at the back to get another great shot of Leech in all of his leechness. He's the evil master of power suction, and that just sounds terrifying. And I remember the original package for Leech, the artwork on the back. I remember really drawing me in because it's him coming out of the lake with what is it, Man at Arms? I think it's Man at Arms, and he's got attached just at his mouth, and it's just horrifying. Real body horror, some real potential for some Cronenberg style horror going on with Leech. So without any further ado, let's get this guy out of here. Open inside. There's absolutely not a leech in there waiting for you. There kind of is. There kind of is a leech in there waiting for you. I thought it was going to be easy, and it's not. Clever girl. Even Leech, a master of slippery sliminess, is just no match for plastic ties. Yes. And here he is, free from his prison. We have Leech, the evil horde member, part of the original crew, because he was in the original commercial as well as the original toy line for Princess of Power. He looks really cool. I'm really glad that I was able to get my hands on this figure. I have always been fascinated by it's such a simple concept. An energy draining creature, and leeches always had that gross connotation to them. People are just inherently afraid of them. They don't want them near them. They don't want them on them. The idea of a bloodsucker is just kind of off putting. And turning that into a character, I always kind of thought that it was funny that his name is just Leech. They didn't come up with any sort of like clever pun. There's no brain drain or anything like that. Just Leech. You know what it is. You know what he does. You know it's disturbing. You don't want any parts of it. One of the first things that I noticed, and it's a little, yeah, you can kind of see it here. He's got kind of an Elvis sneer going on there, which I think is hilarious. But, possibly unintentional because they just wanted to go for the rar. He's a growly boy face, but I like the upper lips curl is kind of funny. So the idea of Leech being secretly a big Elvis fan is hilarious to me. I also really like the different greens that they chose to kind of differentiate him. The original had, kind of that solid emerald green to him, but this one is messing around with a couple of different shades, and I think that works pretty well. It is a little bit, it's got kind of a pearlescent look to it on the top. I mean, the gold sections seem to have that as well, and then you get to more of the solid green sections. The detailing on this is just so good. Look at all the bumpy detail on here, which I have to admit, as a character named Leech, and I'm not too familiar with the topography of leeches as a whole, but this strikes me more of a kind of an amphibian style thing. I get that he's in a swamp and he's probably gross, may not have the best skin routine, but I kind of imagine as a leech, he would have that smooth, kind of slippery, that off-putting smooth feel to him that makes him just naturally gross. So seeing the bumps, I get it. it doesn't take away from the figure. It doesn't make me not like it, but I kind of figured that this would be smooth. If anything, you'd think that there would be maybe some striations to mimic the topography of a leech character or a normal leech out in the wild. Use of black on him is actually really good. I like that it's used to kind of hide, it breaks up the green very well. And I also like that they use it. He doesn't have a full armband. The way that the armband is integrated, it's both part of the shoulder armor, but also wraps around the arm here. So he does technically have the armband for the horde, but it's also integrated into the armor in a way that actually works. So this holds the armor on there. So if you don't want the shoulder armor to be on there, you can pull this off. It's just kind of a pain to get it over the forearm. But when you do slide this down, you'll see even more really nice detailing that they put into this figure. This is really well done. I love the slight kind of scaling that he's got on the back here, on the back of the neck. Uh, the wrinkling of the skin on the top here looks really good. And of course, all this mouth detail is really off-putting. All the suckers on the tongue. Like, I don't think those are just divots; those are individual suckers. So if you wanted to recreate that horrifying intro or that horrifying artwork from the original Leech figure, can't quite pull it off because the rotation of the neck will quite let you do it. But you could put someone on the back of his mouth and imagine his tongue coming up and just sucking all the energy out of him from the back. That is terrifying. So of course he has his horde symbol that looks pretty good there. The hands are very well done. A little bit thin, I think. I almost kind of wish that the forearm leading into the hand was wider. Like I wish that it expanded outward a little bit more. So you had kind of that terrifying coming at you kind of look if you were had him on the shelf and he's reaching forward. These being a little bit large and elongated. The idea of a leech being able to, they naturally expand when they absorb blood or when they suck blood into themselves. I would have liked the idea of the hands being larger to be able to envelop more of you. But that's a minor quibble. Again, overall, this is a really good looking figure. In detailing on it, it's great. The way that they updated the armor is very good. I really like the way that Masterverse has handled the updates to a lot of these characters. They look really good on the shelf next to each other. So let's get into his accessories because Leech comes with his crossbow. And I like the update to the crossbow because they've turned it into more of an energy weapon. See, it's still got the really cool kind of dragon-ish design, which I always kind of wondered about because you'd think, I mean, is this supposed to be a bat? It's got kind of a more of a dragon-ish snout than a bat. That's always kind of puzzled me with the horde. Like, what animal are you really assigned to? Because this is very much a bat, but the look of this crossbow is very nice and it fits well. Who I like to imagine uses this just to like kind of stun his prey. If he's running after him, he kind of shoots him in the maybe in like the calf to hobble him, and then comes over and drains him of their blood. Or I'm sorry, life force. I don't think we've ever actually seen Leech do anything blood related in any of the series that he's been involved in. There's been the threat of it, but I don't think we've ever actually seen him do that. Now, he also has, now this is new, he has this really creepy proboscis that is also featured on the artwork. I think yeah, you can kind of see him wielding it here. He's got that kind of creepy proboscis thing going on. And I like the addition of this because yes, this is a thing that leeches have, and it's a thing that they do. They latch on and they insert the proboscis under the skin, and they enjoy themselves a little meal. What would I do with this instead of it being a wrist weapon? I would pop this out, and I would. I wonder if you can do that. I would put this in his mouth. Like, I feel like it makes more sense if this came out of his mouth because he's a leech and this is a thing that leeches do. Yeah, you can't. I feel like you can't complain about being too gross in He-Man when you have a playset called the Slime Pit. And the whole purpose is to have a creature's skull spew slime out of its mouth onto another person. So Leech just having a natural proboscis as leeches do, would be both really cool and very disturbing. And I kind of wish that you could pop this out of the holder and insert it in his mouth so he could use that to just terrify and traumatize as many people on Eternity as possible. So let's get into his articulation. Leech has a little bit of movement at the neck, not not a full. You can't get his head to go fully up. You can get it to come off, but you can't get it to come fully up there. You can look down a little bit, but it is on a ball socket, so he's got the full range of left and right. Some pretty decent up and down. At the shoulder, you have to pull down the armor to get a good look at it, but it's got the hinge joint there with a full rotation. And thankfully, the shoulder armor, because it is movable and it's wrapped around the upper arm here, it doesn't hinder his articulation. Yeah, you can actually get his arm to come all the way out there, so that's pretty good. You might have a little bit of a snag here getting it to stay up once you've pulled it down, but overall, it works out pretty well. Now there is a ab crunch in the torso, which is very handy. So you can, even if you can't get the head to arch fully back, you can arch the back a little bit more to get a little bit more range there. And of course, it's got the swivel there, so you can rotate him fully. You also have double joints at the elbow for full range of motion there. Pinless, good job. You have a hinge and swivel at the wrist, so you can get that spin that around. I do think it's funny that it kind of almost looks like he's getting ready to karate chop everybody who's nearby because you think I'm crazy, don't you? So let's take a look at the waist, which has the quick twist. Hip rotation here, you get a full ball socket with the swivel here. You have the thigh cut for a full twist, double knees, so you can get that pretty high back, and then with the hip joint, you can get some pretty decent range of motion there. There is a cut at the upper calf, and you have your hinge plus rocker joint for the ankle. I love that Leech's both hands and his feet have these little sucker bits to them because they couldn't replicate or probably just weren't interested in replicating the suction gimmick that the Origins version and the original version had. This is a nice update to that. So even though he's not going to stick to your desk or to your fridge, they are still flat. They still have the flat shape. He does have a pretty wide surface area, so you can get him in some pretty good posing. And speaking of posing, I remember when the ads for this character first came out and being so amused. Whoever it is that's taking the pictures of these, kudos to you, because I know that sometimes it looks like the people taking the pictures just don't care. We see it in Transformers sometimes if something is mistransformed or it just maybe went to a different department that doesn't normally mess around with these figures, so they do either the bare minimum or just some weird things. And whoever it was that was taking promo shots of Leech had him in just one of the most hilarious break dancing, like full on, ready to be in Breakin' 2, electric boogaloo. Like good on him because he was ready to be dancing on the ceiling, which he could do because he's Leech. And apparently that's a thing that he's capable of doing. But man, it looked like whoever it was that was taking pictures was having so much fun. So I applaud them. Either that or they were completely confused and they were like, I don't know what to do with this guy. So I'm just going to show him freaking out. Does this guy freak out? Let's show him doing that. So let's see how Leech looks when he's hanging out with his Origins buddy, who is actually a lot larger than I thought he would be compared to the Masterverse version. And this is I mean, I should have reviewed this too. He is an excellent update to the original Leech. And that Masterverse version almost looks a little taken aback by him. Holy cow, what is that? They're so different. That is kind of strange. Like they're both really nice updates to the original figure, but seeing this strove to just bring the original into the modern engineering world with updated joints and a little bit of inclusion of the suction gimmick. But the Masterverse version is a overall update to the character, both including cartoon accuracy plus some of the toy accuracy. But they're so different. It's almost like they're two different characters, and I appreciate that because I recognize this as the original, and yet it's such a great update. It's so good, so good. And of course, let's have him hanging out with his classics version. Oh, the classics version is also phenomenal, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of if given the choice, if I had to choose, I think I actually would go with the classics version. This is not to disparage the master version, which I also really like, but the classics version, man, this came out so good. Also, a little bit larger than I remember. Not bad. I think it might be the head design because the head design so it almost harkens back to it almost looks like someone's wearing a puppet. Like it almost looks unreal, and yet if you encountered it and it was in fact real, you would look the way that this leech looks, realizing that fact. That is terrifying. But this is also what I meant about the suction cups. The ones for classic they were just a rounded cups because they were, this is going back to the original. Whereas with the Masterverse version, you're getting more of a actual, kind of terrifying look at the inner teeth on the leech. So I appreciate this update. Just wish they were a little bit larger, like this one. And Leech looks great hanging out with his master Hordak, awaiting orders to go do some nefarious things. So, at the end of the day, I would highly recommend getting your hands on the new Masterverse Princess of Power Leech figure. He is a really well done, really nicely updated version of the original. I like that it's kind of a combination of both the cartoon look aesthetic, a little bit of the original action figure look, and they took this to a whole new level. The detailing on it is excellent. I'm really impressed. A lot of the Masterverse figures do have a lot of really good detailing on it, but with Leech, especially in the face, all the detailing in the eyes and the weird kind of texturing, I think they did an amazing job getting all those little tiny details, like all the suction cup things on the tongue, the hand detailing, the suction cups on the hands and the feet look really, really good, and they did not have to go that extra effort, and they went and they kind of knocked it out of the park. The color layout is really good. I like the updates to those colors. I like the addition of different greens to the character. Minor quibble with the warts on the on the skin. I don't think that's necessary. I would have gone with, again, maybe like more of a banded look to really reflect the way that leeches tend to look. But that's a minor quibble, and it's, he's a fantasy figure, so you do what you want. Overall, he is a striking figure. He looks great. The articulation on him is excellent. The plastic feels really good. The updated accessories are really cool. I love the proboscis. I think that looks really neat. I do wish that attached in his mouth just for some extra creepy kind of gross appeal. That's the kid me coming out, but he overall is a great figure, and I think that if you pick him up, he'll look great in your collection. He fits in great with Hordak and the rest of the horde. So, if you get an opportunity, run out and pick him up. I hope that you have enjoyed this review. If you have, please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, tell your friends, tell your buddies, help me fight the YouTube algorithm. And until next time, take care, everybody.